So I'm actually a zoologist. I was trained by Nico Tinbergen, but I'm going to admit to you that I probably learnt more of my biology from you today than I did from those august teachers. And so I'm thrilled to be here today because I was one of the millions of viewers who watched you and learnt to love life on this planet that's evolved in such an extraordinary way. You inspired us to really think that science was wonderful, to explore, to discover, and to look at the world we have, look at all its challenges, you face those straight on, and to give us hope that the future can be right if we particularly understand our environment and work with it. And just in a small way perhaps, the inspiration I had from you led our lab to discover for our most beautiful marsupials that they can actually see a larger range of colours than any other mammal. Yes, from far red to ultraviolet. So you might not realise that you set in trained research that would do that, but you most certainly did, and I thank you so much for it. And talking about West Australia and marsupials, as you realise, we're one of the only 3 temperate locations for biodiversity hotspots around the planet. There are about 30 of them. And here we have, in the southwest of Western Australia, an enormous flora and fauna and fungi that are just so many yet to be described, as in other parts of Australia. But let me mention in particular Gilbert's potteroo. We all thought that this species had been extinct for 100 years, when a PhD student who was actually sampling quokkas down on the south coast at the Two Peoples Bay realised that it wasn't a quokka, it was in fact Gilbert's potteroo. And of course now we have a very active breeding programme. And we just thought we'd better check up, because they feed on truffles, not the chocolate sort of course, and we better check whether there's more than one species. We have now found 1,200 species of truffles down there, and we're still counting. I think this just makes you realise just what a wonderful challenge but privilege we have to work here in Western Australia, and the museum is at the heart of that research. Talking extinct and non-extinct, we're not actually going to try and find any go-go fish. We think that's unlikely under 370 million years. But thank you, Sir David, because you brought to the world an awareness of that amazing site. And of course, you'll well remember McNamara aspis, the original go-go fish that was described by John Long when both John Long and Ken McNamara are working right here in this museum. And of course, Professor Ken McNamara is now director of the Sedgwick Museum in Cambridge, where as an undergraduate you would have spent many hours, I'm sure, studying all the fossils there, including quite a lot from Western Australia Ken was showing me recently. And this has led more recently to fantastic work by one of the fellows associated with this museum. In fact, she won the prize as the Early Career Science Researcher of the Year last year, the National Prize, the Prime Minister's Prize, and that's Professor Kate Trinastic, because we now realise that those go-go fish, we can not only look at their bones, but we can see their soft tissue as well, which led to the discovery of vivipary, i.e. giving birth to live young. This was alive and well back in the Devonian, and of course that species is named Matapisces attenboroughi, to reflect your great interest and support in that. So absolutely wonderful. You have the world's first mother named after you. And we're still discovering new species, new genera even, amongst the vertebrates. It's extraordinary, and there's so much amongst the invertebrates. And we've been very fortunate at the museum here, thanks to the very entrepreneurial activities of our CEO, that we have funding through one of the major resources companies for a 1.6 million molecular facility, where we can not only look at the morphology, but also look at the genotyping of species. Which leads me actually to a young lady in the audience. Where are you, Frances Harvey? Come on, come up the front here, please. This young lady is still at school, but Sir David, she has discovered 4 new species of spider and just published it as senior author in Zootaxa. Isn't that amazing? Photo later. Fantastic, thank you very much. I think that just shows the inspiration we're giving to young people too. But it was Dad who discovered Prethopalpus attenboroughii, and it's one of 38 species of goblin spiders, now published in the Bulletin of the American Museum of Natural History. And it's great to see the two states of Queensland and Western Australia working together. Long may it continue. So on behalf of the West Australian Museum and our colleagues at the Queensland Museum, it's a great privilege for me to ask Professor Alan Robson to join me here to present you with a framed photograph of the esteemed but very tiny spider. And hope it's also a signed copy of the published paper with thanks from everyone in Western Australia, Australia and around the world for everything you have done for science and for the love of nature. Thank you so much for being here.